everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the wild beyond the Witchlight, part 27, The Fey Beacons. Today is August 28th, 2022. I was going to say 2019. It hasn't been that in a long... I don't know, man. Look, it's been a day. But today is August 28th, 2022, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/indooradventures. But let's say you already support us on Patreon. You already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we even have face masks. That's right, we got face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201. The proceeds of all of our merch currently go to Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So, hey RJ, who are you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. I don't know, actually. I'm playing Vice, the Tiefling Rogue Warlock.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah. I will be playing Lowry Moon. We both use she, her pronouns, and she is our Hexblood Spore Druid.
Well, howdy everybody. I'm Mediaflare. I'm going to be playing Balhadur Morthak. We both use they, them, and I am a Drake Warden Ranger.
And no, that's Danae.
Ah! I am also here. Hello, I am Wings. I am playing as Clout, the Tiefling Bard. He, him. And I'm she, her. Wink.
I am the Indoor Adventurer. He, him, and I might be more tired than I initially thought, but we're going to be playing this game and having a great time while we do so. So, last we left off, you ended up spending a series of invisibilities to effectively route around Motherhorn for a solid hour. Looking around, making sure, that you could possibly try and find where they are keeping Gleam's sister Glister, or maybe the unicorn that you misplaced upon entering into this part of, the Feywild. However, you were all able to successfully take care of the scouting. You ended up finding the architect that, of the Briganock variety that you were able to eventually then, rescue, free, but not without lighting a few fires first. At that point, you escaped back into the Briganock mine, met up with a marionette named Break-a-Leg, and you decided that you were going to remove the power from Motherhorn, one way or the other. In doing so, you would need to destroy the 7 lightning rods that were placed throughout all of Yon. Thankfully, you know quite a few people who apparently don't like Endel and Moongrave. It's pretty easy to convince them to take down the towers, especially if you can all do it at once. So, your group decided, okay, Briganocks, they're in. Corrids, they're in. Mudlump, the Cyclops, he's in. Gleam, as well as Molliver and a few other folk, they're in. Everybody is in on this plan. However, that still does leave one group that you have yet to ask for their assistance, a group of Perytons, these wolf-faced, antlered, flying creatures that are known to have a hankering for elf hearts as far as a desirable kind of food. Now, at that point where we last left off, your group had decided that you were going to do a big sleepy before you started the events leading into today. Thankfully, that all went fine. Was there anything that anybody wanted to do over the course of the night? Otherwise, we're just going to lead into first thing in the morning. Okay, so yeah, unless anybody states otherwise.
I think we wrapped up all our evening stuff the previous session.
Okay, cool. Just wanting to make sure in case anybody had anything that they wanted to do. Yes,
like...
RJ.
Both Vice and Clout were looking at their wish gems.
It's true. So you spent some time looking at wish gems. Did we say that? Yeah, because Clout, you were able to see a thing inside of your gem, but I think that the wish inside is only viewable to the person whose wish it was. Kind of like how it's almost like a like one of those like hidden pictures where you have to like unfocus your eyes, but it's only in the way that you as the wish maker would be able to do. So yeah, I'd say that you wouldn't be able to see in each other's wishes, but you'd at least be able to see what your wish was. With that, yeah, you wake up the next morning. You have a very good idea as to where these Fey beacons are, as well as the knowledge that you will have to talk potentially to the Perytons in an attempt to hopefully get them to join in on pushing over some of these lightning rods. So your group ends up making their way in that direction. Along the way, I would like for somebody to roll a survival check, because you have an idea of where it is, but this is just really to figure out how long it takes to get there.
I'll do it. I'm good at this roll. 26. Woo!
Okay. Yep. No, it is from where you had stayed. It is a couple hours away, or a couple miles. I think all things considered, it is roughly about 10 miles from where you are. But with Balhadur also being a ranger, difficult terrain is meaningless. So you're able to get there again relatively quickly. Whereas this would have been most of a day's journey, you get there in a couple of hours. So you spend maybe about like 2 hours in actual travel time. But when you arrive, you can see that there are these large pillars that seem to encircle a lake. And there is a little bit for me to read coming from there. So you see that there are 8 columns of rock that reach skyward, forming a ring around a deep crater lake. Rough-hewn steps spiral up each column, and a rowboat is moored on the lakeshore next to one of them. A torch-bearing figure trudges up the steps on the column nearest the rowboat, and you watch as 8 winged beasts with antlers shout and howl with laughter as they circle and wheel about. You're guessing that these antlered creatures are indeed the Perytons that you had been told about.
Does it look like they're paying any attention to this torch-bearing figure?
It does. It looks like they are. It looks like they're circling around them and like with the howling laughter. But it doesn't seem like they are aggressing upon them. It just looks like they're more just like swooping by and like trying to knock the torch out of their hand or trying to prevent them, not fully, again, not lethally, preventing this person from ascending the steps, but it does seem like they are doing their best to be a major nuisance.
Oh, so it's like a Sisyphus meets Prometheus sort of situation.
Who?
In my plane, there is a legend about two legends, in fact. One who essentially has to roll a boulder up a hill constantly but never gets to the top due to a punishment, and the other one tried to gift fire to man but was chained to a rock, and then ravens, or is it vultures? Eagles pecked at his liver and eyes every day for eternity.
Crows.
That sounds
interesting.
awful.
Punishments. Vice puts 2 fingers in his mouth and just lets out a whistle.
Okay. Yeah, your whistle goes out and you see like one of the Perytons that had been like on top of a rock, like had just sort of alighted there, turns and looks in the direction of your whistle. And you see that like their eyes sort of like gleam through the darkness in your direction, and the head crocks.
From where he's standing, he just yells, "Oi, you want to stick it to Endlin Moongrave?"
Oh, we're just opening up right away, all right.
And you see them like ruffle their feathers a little bit. And then they alight and just go back to fucking with the torch-bearing figure.
So the sword-bearing figure's trying to make it up one of these pillars right now?
Yeah, you actually see, like, they reach the top of the pillar as you all continue to get there. And you see them take their torch into the spot where, like, the very top of this pillar. And you see that there is a flame that does indeed alight. And then, like, they sort of, like bat away the Perytons as best they can. And then they descend down. And it takes them maybe about, like, 10 minutes to actually scale down this entire thing. And once they get to the bottom and hop in the boat and then start rowing, you see one of the Perytons just, or it would be about 3 of them actually, go over to the top of this beacon. And then they all, with their wings, just bat out the flame, laugh to themselves, and then fly in the direction that this figure is going. But hearing you all, that boat is actually now steadily making its way towards your group.
Sisyphus.
All right. Once it gets within 120 feet, Clout's going to cast message at that guy and say, "Hey, hi, over here." And he's just like wave to show who's talking to him.
There's a response wave.
What are you doing?
Well, if you just give me a little bit of time, I'm sure I'll be able to properly elucidate onto the situation. Here, just momentarily. And you just hear, like, grumph sounds that use up the remainder of the message until those grumph sounds stop being telekinetic and you can just hear them coming from this guy.
Yeah. This guy sounds very succinct.
And the boat comes up, and you can see that, like, they remove a hood, and they have it's like this like straw-colored golden hair that has seen better days. It's definitely not as brushed and kept as this individual would like it to be. They have the pointed ears of an elf, and they have just sort of like this, like, very, like, they just have a smile about them that you're like, this guy is really trying hard to have, like, a positive outlook right now, and it's not working for the best. And he gets to the base and just, hello, sorry, thank you for reaching out. You said that Enderlin Moongrave, you wanted to mess with her. Sorry, my name is Prince Alagarthus. I am the next in line of the Elven Kingdom of Mistywood, the most beautiful place in all of Toril. Thank you for, you said you were coming to, well, no, you didn't say you were coming to assist me. That's fine, but you said something about not liking Enderlin. Is that correct?
I mean, we probably can help you, but yes, we're trying to stop her, and we were going to seek the help of the Perytons.
Oh. What? Oh.
Well, we didn't know you were around one.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm rather good with a sword. I haven't been able to sleep or eat much. Well, I don't really sleep. I trance, but...
Yeah, no, you're an elf.
I am very astute. You are...
How come those guys haven't eaten you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little grim of a question now that you say it out loud, and I never really thought about it too much.
I try to get right to the point, man. Like, Perytons, like, the one thing that people know about them is that they hate elves, so...
And unless they're playing with their food for a very long time, it seems that they're not interested in digesting you.
Well, I think they gain rather a great amount of joy by just bothering me. These Perytons used to be a traveling group of performers called the Greyhawk Mummers. They were very famous for their pantomiming acts. When I was in Motherhorn, I actually saw them perform a few times, and they were very good. However, their talents led them to be a little bit more pompous than perhaps they should have, and harder to... have you... what's the right word? It's like when a bard won't go on stage unless they get guacamole and
Divas.
a small... Yes,
Prima donnas.
they became such as these diva primas, as you have described. And now, Endelyn didn't care for that too much and locked them away inside of her prison. And as they begged for their freedom, for their lives, she claimed that she would give them their freedom, and when she did, she turned them into these horrible bird monsters, these Perytons. And they have done their best to ruin my day, every day, for the last... It's been a while.
Are they aware that they aren't actually Perytons?
Well, I'm not sure. I've tried to yell at them and tell them to stop. Lighting the Fey beacons is the only way I can get home, you see. And I think telling them that, they sort of doubled down on the hostile work environment that they're creating, and I haven't been able to light more than one beacon at a time. It takes me about an hour to row the boat, and to climb up and get it, and by the time I go to the next station, they've already put it out. But as a long-aged individual, time is on my side, and they will grow bored eventually.
I could try talking to them. Do they speak common, or...?
I don't believe they speak at all. They have the ability to understand, but vocalizing is not within their wheelhouse.
Are they immune to telepathy in any capacity?
I am not sure. I'm not a telepath myself.
We could possibly convey what we're trying to communicate through our minds.
Or speak with animals, if that works.
No, they are not animals. They are monstrosities.
Oh. Then yes. Telepathy.
Okay, well, I can get on that.
I'll have to get within 30 feet to use any of my type of telepathic abilities. Does anyone have a further ranged option?
As far as I can see.
That's a pretty good range.
Oh, you say you're from Toril?
Yes, the Misty Wood, the most beautiful place of an elven kingdom to ever exist.
Waterdavian.
Oh, I see. One of those sword coasters I've heard so many things about.
I'm gonna use my Scion. Oh, no, I'll do... Wait, is that... Sorry, I gotta go looking.
Oh no.
Feats class features. We need to be on it. It's never been easier. We haven't done that in a while. Psychic blades. No. Where is it? What? Here. Psionic whispers between yourself and others. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna use my psionic whispers and link my mind up with 2 of the Perytons.
Okay.
That translucent walkie-talkie comes out. So, y'all having fun tormenting this poor soul?
Holy shit, what is this?
It's telepathy, my dear man, woman, Peryton.
My name is Georginelle.
Pleasure to meet you, Georginelle.
Pleasure to meet you. Who is this fine chap? And then you also hear a, hello? Who is it? George? Is that you, Georginelle? How are we doing this? Well, I'm not really sure how we're doing it, but we're doing it really well. Who's this fine fellow?
My name is Vice. I'm here to try and get an agreement between you and this fine gentleman here.
Did we eat the bad meat?
I mean, if you want to think that, if that helps you sleep
Is
at
this
night,
a
sure.
hallucinatory? Hello?
Hello, hi.
You still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Hey, wait.
Could you...
You should come to the edge of the water.
You're not gonna pick me up, are you?
No.
You're not gonna knock me into the water, are you?
Maybe.
I'll humor you. Vice walks out to the edge of the water. He's going to actively look away from any danger.
And
There's a pool of acid.
yeah, you get up to the lake, and then these Perytons, like these 8 individuals, sort of like look down at you, and they like caw and growl. I don't know, like they don't bird noise because dogs, so I guess that they would like yip towards
Ever
one
heard of-
another.
Have you
Crow
ever
dogs from
heard, like,
Bloodborne.
Oh, disgusting. Okay, I got that. Yep, that's how they.
Right.
Yes.
Ever heard deer vocalizing?
Oh. Yes.
Or like an elk?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, these Perytons begin to communicate with each other, and Georginelle, and the old timer who you find out their name is Maldauer. They are your points of contact for this, and Georginelle says, "So you wanted to make a truce?"
Well, that, and I also wanted to confirm, do you want to fuck with Endelyn Moongrave?
Oh yeah, no, like she did this to us. This is terrible.
Oh,
This is a bad
perfect.
time.
Yeah. So, my friends and I here are looking for some allies. We've already got the Corrids and the, what are the little ones called?
Briganox.
Briganox.
The Brigga
On
snacks,
board.
yeah.
I'm not gonna.
They're
say that.
like if you could just bread them up, they would just be like little poppers, you know.
Yeah, we're looking to knock down the towers that surround Motherhorn to effectively take away power from there and then launch a full-scale assault.
Oh.
I mean, you don't need to join in the assault. We just need help knocking down the towers.
What's in it for us?
We can try. Well, we know a couple of Archfey that might help your situation out.
Really? You're not fooling? No fools?
No fools this time.
And just a moment, and like there's some barking and yipping amongst them.
How's it going?
Pretty well, I think. They still haven't knocked me in the water, though.
I'm
Oh.
going to get back in the boat, and while they're distracted, maybe I can light one of the beacons. And Aligarthus, you see, like, creeps around them, gets into the boat, and, like, pushes it back out to the lake, and, like, one of the Perytons, like, looks back, and, Vice, because you're psychically linked, you hear, Gorgonelle say, he thinks he's gonna do it this time. This fucking guy.
You should probably wait for him to climb to the very top and then go after him.
No, we wait until he gets to the very bottom. Like, he thinks he's gonna just keep thinking he's gonna get away with it, but, you know, like, we want him to, like, think, you know.
You know what, this time, wait till he gets in the boat and then knock out the flames.
Yeah!
Really
No, like,
get him.
he keeps saying, like, I'll outlive you all! You can't do it, you can't make changes to me that matter, but, like, you watch a man's light die in his eyes enough time. Oh, man!
Oh, yeah.
What a
know that
riot!
look.
What a rip!
Anyway, how's your day going?
It's been pretty well. I mean, it's wet and a little rainy, but, like, we're making it work out here.
Yeah, you know, it's
You
kind of
two
rough.
are so loud.
Oh, I apologize. I could be quieter.
No, it's listen. Achilles, Mortia are leaders. They don't respect anybody who isn't a proprietor of the arts.
Well, my dear friend Clout here is quite the bard.
Okay.
Gesturing at you, Clout.
If you
Maybe they need some muscle.
gotta make, if you can put on a performance for us, because it's been so long since we've seen an honest-to-God, truthful performance. I mean, we watch this clown every day, and they, like,
That's boring.
Pantomime motion to Aligarthus mumbling to himself, this time I'll get 2 towers down, then they'll see, as he's, like, rowing out farther away.
As he gets farther.
Yep. And the Perytons now seem that they are more focused on your group.
So, what's your flavor? Ballad, mama's play?
And let me see here. real
Interpretive
quick.
dance?
Shanties, lullabies.
Performative arts?
They say,
Do you know any plays? Can you put on a story for us?
Any preference? Tragedy? Comedy?
their eyes narrow.
The only thing we ask is that you give us hope for the next generation of performers.
I'll see what my associates will say. And he will click off. He has this for about an hour and walks up to Clout, puts a hand on his shoulder. All right. We have 2 options.
Is this out loud
You
now?
do.
Yeah, it's out loud.
Okay.
One option is to put on a play for the Perytons, and they will gladly join us in our little crusade. Or
Alright.
they want you and I to get naked, cover ourselves in paint, and roll around on a paper to make art.
Well, we don't have paint on us right now, so
Insight
it seems
check
like our
advice.
options are limited.
Should I roll deception?
I mean, are you telling the truth?
He's lying about the second part.
24.
25.
You know, it's funnier than 24.
25.
That second option sounds easier. We should do that.
Where are we going to get the paint, though?
Huh. I didn't think you'd go for that. They want us to put on a play.
God damn it.
Which one?
Any. Do we have any common ground? Do we want to do an improv?
Have you heard the story of the One Tin Soldier?
The One Tin Soldier?
Aye. It's technically a song, but we can act it out as someone sings it.
Tell it to me.
Well, I mean, if we're going to work on common ground, we should find something we already know first. Otherwise, we will have to go for improv. Please. I know one about a capitalist who gets visited by a bunch of ghosts involved with time travel abilities.
Oh, and they show him the meaning of a holiday.
Aye, and he basically has a change of life for about 24 hours and probably goes right back to capitalism afterwards.
I don't like that one.
What about the one where they do it with puppets? Like, one's a frog.
Oh, and there's a pig, and then there's... I don't know what Gonzo is.
Treasure Planet, have you heard of that one?
I love Treasure Planet.
Does this ring a bell to either of you?
No, it doesn't. Sorry.
I've only done acting in the wrestling ring.
That is also a form of theater. Lucha Libre is something.
Okay, well, let's figure out who is your opponent and what your narrative adversary is, and we can probably wing something.
The problem with this whole wrestling thing is it's established over the course of many, many weeks. That's how they...
As you're talking, one of the Perytons is like looking back, and you see Aligarthus is like rode to the base of one, and like one of the Perytons like taps the other one and like points, and like you see them like very exaggerated like whisper something at each other, and you're guessing that they're also being like, this fucker, he thinks that he's gonna... We see him. We see what he's doing.
Who was the Peryton I was talking to?
That was Gorgonal.
By the by, Gorgonal, have you ever thought of covering up one of the, like, lightable structures up there? Like, he can't see it from the bottom. When he gets to the top, he sees it's covered and sealed, and he just goes, oh no.
No, like, he'll spend a while just digging it back up.
Oh, that's very sad.
No, like, he thinks that time is on his side, and like, we got nothing but at the moment.
We've got to think of a play to do.
You guys can
I have
look.
the capacity of improv, so long as I know what the goal is, I can make some stuff up along the way.
Tell a story. They want to see the next generation of actors.
Look, if y'all need some time to think about it, just give us a jingle and we'll come back when you're ready.
It keeps making noises at us.
He'll give a thumbs up.
And they just take off as this large group of Perytons. Each one is like the size of a horse, if not larger. And so by the time that they alight and start flying around, you just hear, "Damned creatures! Let me light the beacons!" And you see that he's just like trying to fight them off as best he can in the background, and will continue to do so as you begin to figure out your play.
What about the one about that girl who leaves her village because she has to put the heart of the land back in the island place, and there's a chicken? I could play the chicken. And it takes place on water. We have the lily pad.
Oh, yes.
Do we know if this water is hazardous at all before we simulate a seaborne adventure?
I mean, technically any water's hazardous.
I
mean, to our particular skin, is it acidic, or is it going to pull us down with a bunch of tentacles? Have we even tasted the water?
I don't feel comfortable doing that play, considering our cast lineup feels more of appropriation than anything.
What about the one about the girl who gets kidnapped by the person in the castle because she goes to rescue her dad?
Oh, with the giant library. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That could
We don't have a library, though.
There's also that one about the political revolution that happened, and young Princess Anastasia apparently escaped and made friends with a bat.
Oh, that one's a musical. If you could learn to do it, I could learn to do it.
Well,
Make it work. Shall we put on a play?
We can try. I can't turn into a bat, though.
Sarah, I think you're missing from this, like muted on the CC.
Am I?
Yep. Because once you reach a certain threshold in the CC, it just auto has you come in muted.
That's rude.
It is. There go. Fixed. Okay. So, you guys are going to be putting on a performance of Anastasia. Anastasia?
Apparently.
Okay. So, yeah. You see Aligarthus gets to the top and finally lights one of the beacons, and the Perytons just immediately, like, blow it back out. His torch goes out, and you see his shoulders get all slumped. Because now he has to go back to his boat to even light the torch again. And he begins his descent down. You make the signal to the Perytons, and the Perytons, mid-laugh, will then make their way back over to your group. And they each sort of like take a little bit of a squat up to witness this performance. So, in order to succeed on this, everyone who is currently in the performance who is going to be putting on this play, I would like for you to make a charisma performance check for me.
Who's got the lowest charisma?
I've got a +2.
I have a +1.
Lowry, you're getting the bardic inspiration.
Thanks.
Bring.
I'll give Ballador a guidance.
Look how supportive we've all become.
How are we casting this? Who's playing who?
I can play the villain. When I take the stage seriously, I can be pretty frightening.
I could be the bat.
Can I play the love interest? I liked Dimitri.
All right, so you're Dimitri.
That just
does
leaves
mean
Clout as
is
Anastasia.
All right, we've got this figured out.
Wait.
All right, who's got the costumes or disguise spells?
Oh, I can disguise self.
I'm used to wardrobe changes.
Okay.
Lowry is suddenly
performance
standing.
check.
Lowry is suddenly standing. There's a brunette man with a center part and floppy hair.
A center part? A center
Oh.
part?
Yeah, center part.
Oh my
Doesn't
god.
he have like this, like the '90s,
Yeah,
like
it's
center
like-
part
Yes.
bowl
Yeah,
cut?
yeah.
Yes, it's Don Bluth's boyfriend. He
Yeah.
if he draws a handsome man, it's always the same exact person every
True.
time.
Isn't there another
It's
movie
true.
in space where he has the same fucking thing going on?
Yes, every time he draws a handsome man,
Oh,
it's Don Bluth's boyfriend.
Oops.
you know, if we don't want to do Anastasia, there is that story about the group of adventurers that go under the sea and find a lost city full of people.
Well, I already committed to this first bit.
I already used a spell.
I know, I'm just saying there's like a geeky adventurous sword with round circle glasses. He works at a museum.
I've
Sounds
already
really
been
lame.
putting on the face paint.
I think we're committed to this one, Vice.
All right, we're committed. Do you want me to be Bartok or who's the rotund gentleman?
Oh, what's his name?
Pietro?
Pietro.
Is that his name?
I think
Dimitri?
that's right. No.
Dimitri was the love
Dimitri-
interest.
Oh god. Hold on. I'm
Wait,
now
who's gonna be the
Googling-
villain?
I shall be Rasputin.
Balhudor.
I'm
Vladimir.
fearsome when I am.
Vladimir.
Because it was Kelsey Grammer.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. And Christopher Lloyd did Rasputin.
Did you?
Oh yeah, it is Vladimir. The thing is, it's just like Vladimir just sounds like a evil person.
I'm sorry.
He went by
For this
Vlad.
Small tangent, but the matron of the orphanage name is Flemenkoff.
Yes.
Ew.
Gross.
She looked like it too.
Her name should be Cover Your Mouth.
Sorry. This is not what I expected we were gonna get up to today, but okay.
Yeah, the
Here we go.
Perytons are all just like watching this happen as you guys are like, what was his name? I think it was Pietro.
We're changing at this
Okay.
point.
Gotcha.
Dowager Empress was Angela Lansbury? Incredible.
Okay, so group performance check, if you please.
My Bard
Plus a
Inspiration
D.
die is a D8 now.
Guidance is
It's a
D4?
D8. Okay.
Yeah, it's a D4 for guidance.
That's a total of a 22 for Lowry.
Okay.
She's the best Dimitri.
16.
Vice got a 24. He's playing all the side characters, quickly changing in and out.
Balhadur got a 9, so they're up there still with their same smile. I am Grigori Rasputin, the great villain of this stage. I am fearsome and mean. Look upon me.
Incredible.
Night, terrible fun.
So, watching this, the Perytons, as you put on this lengthy performance, are like, they're enthralled. They watch along. They cheer at all the right places. They boo at all the right places. And arguably, Clout, this is one of the better audiences that you think that you've had. Like, they know this story and they're just excited to see it played out.
What happens is that at the beginning, Clout is like really begrudging. But as time goes on, like he feeds off of the energy of the crowd and like becomes more and more committed.
To being, and I think it's like you
Yeah.
reach that halfway point and Clout's in the back just like, no, I have to be Anastasia.
I've lost my
It's
kingdom
me,
and my
Grandmama.
family.
Anastasia. He just starts off like, come on, Puka. I feel like there really has to be something out there for me.
Is Whisper Puka?
I would say that's okay.
Whispers the plot puppy.
All right, so the performance goes on long enough that Aligarthus is able to actually light one of the beacons and like gets back to it, and like the Perytons are so engrossed by your performance that really they only the only time that you even see them like kind of like shifting around, maybe not wholly into it, is Balhadur's performance of Rasputin, because like you explained, Balhadur's like still like big jolly smile, and they're just like the portfolio's not complete yet. I'm sure if he was I'm sure if that guy was Vlad, it would have been a great performance. Like they're like taking time to like recast your play with you. But you have given them enough successes that they have been engrossed by this play. And then at the end, as you bow and roll the credits, you see them like bring their wings together in a very like feathery applause, and they are like hooting and hollering, and they're very excited. And they like come towards you.
Hold
and
on.
you see
Reestablishes connection.
and you establish connection, and as you do, you see that one of the Perytons, like with a wing, does several little circles and then extends one out into a deep bow towards you.
Hello.
You did fine work, gentle lad.
Thank you. I wish we had more cast members. I am exhausted.
Well, for what it's worth, you put on a hell of a performance.
Thank
My
you.
name is Achilles, the leader of this intrepid band of pantomime.
It's lovely to meet you, Achilles. I am Vice. These are my friends.
Do you have a name for this troupe?
We are the Proof of Fools.
Excellent title. Wonderful. Rather incredible job. Now, you said something when you whistled and called at us from afar that you are wanting to stick it to Endlin Moongrave.
Well, I was asking if you would be interested in sticking it to Enlil Moongrave. We are definitely going to.
All right, well, I like you fine. The performance was stellar. Absolutely incredible. Almost believable as the young bat. You did a great job, and again, you have shown us, dare I say it, a little bit of joy in this otherwise dire place, a joy that we have previously only been getting when badgering that tired elf over there.
Well,
He slept through one of our performances.
That's a bit of a faux pas, isn't it?
Yes, he's an elf. Do you understand the amount of concentration it takes to sleep?
Well, thank you for bearing with us through this performance of Anastasia. Would you be willing to work with us?
I believe that we can come to an agreement. This is the first time I've spoken using my mind voice in quite some time.
Well, hopefully after all of this is done, our associates might be able to put you right.
Yes, you said that you had powerful friends. Where are these powerful friends located? Not that we're going to cut and run.
They are not here, sadly. They are in the other planes, the other regions, hither and thither. If it's any consolation to you, we do have a track record for disposing of hags that are currently in power. The Archfey that I was speaking of were installed by us.
I see. Well, how about this? You give us... You said that they were in hither and thither, the other locations here in Prismia. If you give me their locations, we can see that we take down one of these towers for you. It'd be rather dangerous because of, the lightning and such, but we would be able to assist.
Give it, well, we are planning an attack in a bit. If you come with us, we could finalize our attack plans, make it so that the lightning has less of a chance hitting you.
That works.
But as a sign of good faith, one of them is in downfall.
Oh. I don't know where that is, but I'm sure we'll find it. Having wings helps in this situation.
Look for the bog full of froggy people, and then you'll see a hut.
I see.
I would suggest approaching carefully, and if Alessandra does make contact, say you're friends of Lowry and crew.
So we're looking for an Alessandra in downfall. I got it. I'll let them know that we chanced upon the proof of fools.
It sounds good. I don't know how to finalize this agreement. You have wings, not hands.
Well, typically when one creates an agreement of sorts and they take their one of their like hawk-like talons and just you see like deftly scratches into the dirt that says agreement of compliance, and then there's an X and a long line and then an X, and then in like the most flourishing script that you have ever seen, not just from like a pen, like calligraphy style. This dude's writing with a talon and has better penmanship than Clout has ever shown you. It's incredible.
Vice looks over to Lowry. Miss Moon, could you help me pass through this agreement?
It's literally, it just says agreement of compliance. There's no additional text. It's just 3 words and then a place for you to sign.
It's very simple.
Yeah, I see that now. Vice just sticks a finger up. There's a as a claw appears, and then he just writes his name.
And you see that the text glows briefly,
Huh.
and then just like a breeze sort of like blows it away. And you see, like, as you look back up, the Peryton's face is like super close to yours, and in your brain you just hear, "The contract is sealed."
Righto. You are very close.
Sifts back a little bit. Anyway,
Yes.
so, do you know which of these lightning rods will be taken care of?
Map.
Do you have a way of getting in contact with us?
This effect that I've casted upon you and you lasts for about 6 hours. If you could meet us by the Cordstone Circle, I can... Would you say a day is proper for planning and preparation?
Sounds about good.
In a day. We
We'll
plan to
send
hit
one
these
of our
towers.
representatives.
We plan to hit all of these towers simultaneously so that the forces don't know which way to go.
I see. Now, with that in mind, the Corrids see us as an enemy. The Briganox see us as an enemy. Can I get something like a letter from one of you that we are unable to speak or communicate ourselves, other than through this mind link that you have established?
Do we have any way of writing a letter of introduction for these Perytons? They cannot speak other than through my telepathy.
Oh, I can handle that.
Well, here you go. We'll have it covered.
Excellent. All right, and you draft up a letter saying like, "Hey, the Perytons are cool. They won't eat you. They don't seem particularly. They want to eat a few of you, but not like right now. It's fine."
Yeah, they're working with us.
Yeah.
Please don't fight them.
So yeah, you draft up this note, and one of the Perytons will then fly in the direction of the Corrids and the Briganox to await orders on this.
Well,
And in the meantime, the others are sort of bid you adieu, unless you need any assistance from them.
do we need their help for anything else?
Maybe let the elf person go home.
I believe the operation that we're about to do will give them enough time to light all the beacons.
Random side thought: is the unicorn's horn attached to the unicorn, or do you have a unicorn's horn tool somewhere?
We lost said unicorn and attached horn. On our
Right,
way
so it is
here.
attached to the unicorn. All right.
It is, yeah. I hope they're okay.
I do too. Adieu.
And the Perytons bow, and they like look in the direction of Aligarthus, who's like lit one of the beacons and is rowing to the next one. And they just sort of like, there's this look in their face like, "No, that's not fun anymore." And you see that they actually will then take their time and fly from this place, no longer interested in messing with Aligarthus. They have a better job to do now.
Vice is gonna just shout across the water, Aligarthus!
There's a wave.
Safe travels home, friend!
Thumbs up. And just a, "You too!"
We should head on.
Right, sounds like we're about to get this started.
Yes. It's been a long time since I've been a part of a bigger scale operation.
Usually I do small skirmishes myself, so this will be fun.
You all did admirably, by the way. Very good stuff. During the play.
I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, I said you all did admirably, by the way.
I still wish I got to throw somebody somewhere.
Well, I offered, but I think I was in the wrong spot in the scene for it.
Vice looks at Clout, sighs, sticks his hand out. Go on then.
Just sort of
Gosh,
raises
man.
an eye. He raises an eyebrow and then he like moves like he's gonna walk away, and then he just turns around and like flips him.
Incredible.
Into the water.
No, we don't know if the water's bad.
We never saw Vice again.
And then he went to Narnia.
There are bubbles that float up that slowly start stopping.
Yeah,
Oh
just-
no.
just a bunch of tiefling bones rise to the surface.
Oh no, this was filled with quippers.
Oh, it's a sulfur lake. Got it.
Ew.
Oh, that would shine up my gem really well.
Sure would. So, then the goal is now to go back to the Briganox, Chorids, all of them's, and establish the plan.
E.
Okay. So yeah, leaving Aligarthus to finish lighting the beacons, you then make your way back to this general meeting place. The Perytons, I would say, if you let them, are so large that you would be able, or they would be able to functionally take you to that place and expedite the entire travel process, if you would prefer. But otherwise,
Taking us back to the meeting place, is that what you're saying?
yes.
Okay. I mean, if they're offering.
Yeah, they have nothing else to do. And like they as they're going, like they fake drop you a few times. And when I say fake drop you, I mean they actually drop you and then swoop and pick you back up. And they're just sort of like they're living life. They're doing their heckin' best, trying to get some joy in this. But they will eventually. You will all eventually return back to the meeting place. And when they arrive, like, Chorids are nowhere to be seen. Briganox are nowhere to be seen. Everyone is hiding, tucked away. And then your group sort of, like, gets off and says, like, you can come out now. The Perytons are fine. And eventually you see, like, the Chorids begin coming out of the stone. They seem very... They're not 100% sold on the Peryton force that you guys have gathered, but, you know, they are not upset about additional help. So they are willing to work with you, which is good. So you wanted to start the process of taking down these towers over the period, over the next day. So... is there anything that you all would want to do for the remainder of this day? I know that there was talks about separating teams up because we were going to have 2 different Proof of Fools teams that are going to be trying to take down 2 respective towers. So what is the breakdown for each team?
What is everybody's strengths and weaknesses so we can figure out who should go with who?
I can loosen up the ground around the towers with my voice.
I can become really large and pull the towers down.
I can enhance abilities, and I can turn into somewhat large creatures.
I can kill things.
Anyone have an animate object spell?
Know what?
Sad. We could have animated one of the towers and asked it to move.
What particular spot of the tower do we need to destroy? Is it an object and the top of it, or are we trying to destroy the entirety?
The safest bet is to destroy it in its entirety.
I do have heat metal.
That could work. If we were to heat the towers hot as possible and then immediately dump buckets of water or some sort of cold on it, rapid expansion should essentially break the tower.
I can also summon a fae to hit it.
What kind of fae?
Oh, only the small kind. But they could still hit it with gusto.
You summon pixies.
It just says Fey Spirit Small Fey. It's the spell is Summon Fey.
Yeah, it's not Conjure Fey.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. There was a neat tactic my friends used to do where they summoned a bunch of pixies and turned each other into Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Otherwise, in this particular encounter, I don't have much I can bring to the table unless we are fighting something organic. I don't have a good way of taking down stone.
Maybe.
Well, all things said, I can become a very large person, but I'm not great at fighting.
Well, if you can bring the tower down, I can keep you safe if something tries to stop you from pulling it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be Lowry's backup then.
Sounds like that's going to be our teams then.
Okay. With that out of the way, I think we should take the 2 towers closest to the castle
Agreed.
and coordinate that the ones furthest away get taken down first. That way, when the forces are drawn out to go handle those, we can take down ours.
Now you're using a noodle.
We can hear the lightning when it strikes wherever we are. Do you think the buildings collapsing are as loud as a lightning strike? We might be able to hear it while we are doing this.
Maybe?
Maybe. I
We
think
can just
also-
coordinate that everyone waits for a loud, stony explosion before they start destroying theirs in subsequent order.
We can also go by time of day.
The lightning strikes happen on the hour.
Every
Or
hour,
they-
yeah.
We could time it after a lightning strike happens so that we have enough time to take down said tower.
Less likely to get hit by the lightning as well.
Right.
So we'll have essentially a 55-minute timer to get some of these things done before the next strike. It seems feasible.
What about including factoring in travel time? If it's a simultaneous strike, say we use the lightning as a timer of sorts,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
then everyone does their best to take down a tower, except for the 2 closest to the castle, which we will be taking down after the second lightning strike.
Good idea.
Are there any preparations or item crafting that we need to do before we set off for this? Is there a specific start time we want to line up for?
We told the Perytons a day, so if you have anything, we'll do it then.
Okay. So, you have an understanding of how best to take down these towers. You have, you've collected all of the people. And I would say, you're able to give a specific time. So when, for example, after this meeting, on, the 6th crash, after this meeting ends, then that's when the plan starts. You basically give people enough time to get into places, because it will take a little bit to actually move, especially when there are individuals with very small feet, or there are also lightning rods that are farther away. But I'm guessing, that the farther away lightning rods are going to be more on the Peryton side. So that way they can actually get there in a reasonable time. But again, you structure that up. Going into the process of taking down these lightning rods, after you take them down, will you be immediately going into Motherhorn?
That is a question.
Or are you destroying all the power and then letting it sit for a little bit and then going in at a later point?
I think if we do this, it'll be our only opportunity to get into the castle with as little people as possible, since they'll have to respond to the chaos. If we destroy them and then wait, they'll have time to reinforce or find some sort of defense against us.
What if we immediately, after taking down the towers, meet back here and we take the tunnels back in?
How long does it take from the beginning of the tunnels to get to the castle? I wasn't keeping track of time when we were in there.
A few minutes at best. Half an hour at best.
Well, if we are at the towers,
Several hours at
you know,
best.
say it took us half a day to get to the center of this place where the Perytons are, and then we will be backtracking after destroying towers, so a full day to walk all the way back and then travel a half day through the tunnels. It would take us almost 2 days after destroying the tunnels to get back into the castle.
Well, the only reason we couldn't fly there to begin with was because of the lightning from the towers, right?
The lightning and the concern for Perytons, yes.
Well, we've taken care of the Perytons, and we will have taken care of the lightning. We should be able to fly in if we have to.
Light only lasts for a minute.
We'll be right next to the towers. Or if I'm looking at our map right, we'll be right next to the castle when we destroy our 2 towers.
Well, the problem is that each tower is about 15 miles from each other. The closest one is about 10 to the castle. I could fly down to the road and start running.
Or we can climb down to the road and wait until we get to the castle to fly.
True. Oh man, I forgot how much planning there is.
Well,
Don't worry, once we start executing it, it'll all go out the window anyway.
we won't know for sure how they're going to react to those towers going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we take down the towers and see what they do?
Right? Shoot
Take
from
down the
hip from the
towers.
second stage forward.
Approach from the road, wait and see if anybody comes out, and if they do, go in then.
Could also try and lie our way in. Traveling performers, we have no idea what's going on with the towers.
Hello, we are
That's
tower
true.
repair people.
Hello, we are actors. Tower repair people would probably get sent to the towers for repairs.
Hey, Vice.
Hey,
Just as a gentle reminder about the plan to disguise yourself as actors. Remember when you guys showed up and there was a box, like a cart that had little marionettes of each of you?
Yeah, they know who we are.
yeah. Okay, yeah, she
Mhm.
knows.
They know we're coming.
Sneaky time. Sneaky time.
Sneaky time.
All right, we sneak in.
Alright.
See what the forces do and plan accordingly. We should probably find a meetup spot for everyone. Us, at least.
Where on our map what's our terrain looking like for that?
If the terrain is accurate in the map, it seems like our only option is one long winding road leading up to the castle that might be several miles long, or finding a way to fly for longer than a minute. How long total can I fly? Gem flight. Yep, just 1 minute.
Hordes and Brigandots are going to take the towers closest to us, Perytons furthest away.
We can always try and hide near the road until we see a patrol group head out to respond to the chaos and then slide in.
True. That could work.
I think we should all meet at that tower closest to the castle.
The one on map left or map right?
Map. It'll be map left at the bottom of the winding road.
You mean map right?
Map right, sorry. Yeah.
Right, where there's that little flat circular area.
Because once they're past that far enough, they're not going to turn back to fix it.
Aye. That sounds like the place to meet.
Done deal. All right.
Let's see the case through then.
Okay. So there's like the hands in the middle. Break. Gonna figure.
Base of the toppling towers.
Yeah. And as your group disperses, and all of the Chords, all the Briganoks, and your group's fractures into two different teams. Mudlump is going off in their direction. The Perytons are going off. Gleam and Molliver and all of your other friends are going off in another direction to take down these lightning rods. That is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you all shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We have returned from our break. Hey, guess what?
What?
RJ.
Do you have somewhere to keep your notes now?
I do, actually.
It's been a while. You've been talking about this a lot.
I know. Well, that's actually what I was going to say. So, it came in. My journal. It came in like several months ago now at this point. But hey, guess what? We're still talking about it because it's a great deal. Did you know that if you go to shop.therookandtheraven.com, they have customizable journals. Those journals where the front, you can interchange all of the stuff. The pages, like my pages, don't look the same that Sarah's pages are, because guess what? We chose different pages at the overall construction. It's like Build-A-Bear, but if you want to be able to build a journal instead of an actual bear, you can change out all of the key rings. You can change out all sorts of stuff, and you can do that super easily at shop.therookandtheraven.com. They even have, like, if you want more paper, if you want more stuff, they got refills. And if you use the code HypeGoblin on your overall purchase, you can get 15% off your entire purchase. That's right. So if you want extra pages, the HypeGoblin saves you 15%. If you want a different cover and you order a new journal, use the code HypeGoblin. That's 15% off. If you want, I don't know, extra stuff like new key bindings or different pages, you can, again, use code HypeGoblin. That's 15% off, and you can do that at shop.therookandtheraven.com. The only thing that you won't be able to do is get this cover anymore because it was a limited edition for a limited time, not limited edition, but they cycled through covers. So if you see one that you like, make sure to hop on that. And again, use the code HypeGoblin for 15% off of your overall order. It's a great time. RJ, you look like you had something to say.
Okay, two things. One, that bit's a lot better than what I was gonna do. I was gonna go off screen and then run and jump at my TV, smashing into it, trying to look for my notes. But also, we don't talk about Build-A-Bear here because, one, they're exploiting children for labor. Unionize the children.
Unionize the bears.
Why would your notes be in your TV?
I don't know. It was like a physical comedy thing. Also, the new covers look fucking fantastic, by the way, if you go to Rook and the Raven. There's like this like Victorian one with a dude in top hat and a cloak on walking through Misty City. There's a green dragon with a dude with a fucking scythe on the back.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. When this wraps, I'm going to have to pick something from my next campaign journal. What will it be?
Best
Code
place to
HypeGoblin.
do it. Use the code HypeGoblin at
HypeGoblin.
shop.therookandtheraven.com.
The Victorian one is a Call of Cthulhu book.
I figured as much. That makes sense. All right, but speaking about things that make sense, you guys have separated. You're going off into your own different directions to take care of these lightning rod issues. So, one team is Clout and Balhader. Team number 2 is Lowry and Vice. When you go to your tower, you can see that it is a 30-foot tall copper lightning rod that has one of these moons or suns that's kind of depicted on top of it. And it looks very sturdy. It looks like it's actually been planted really well into the ground. It's going to be pretty difficult, you're guessing, to try and actually move this, especially with the amount of copper that's being used. You're guessing that this thing weighs a sizable amount and that you are very thankful that you have gathered so many of these additional forces to help with the removal of these lightning rods. So let us start with the first team. So Clout, you and Balhader are at your lightning rod. For the sake of brevity, let us say, or I guess if you wanted the two closest ones to Motherhorn, the two closest ones are both suns. So that makes it pretty easy on that one. So Clout and Balhader, you stand at the base of this 30-foot tall lightning rod with this 10-foot diameter symbol of a sun that rests on top of it. How are the two of you going to try and make this thing go down?
So how big can you actually make yourself?
About 10 feet tall. If I down this potion, he like pulls out a bottle and sort of swishes it. 20.
Right? You think that's large enough to pull this thing down? Or at least bend the bastard?
One way to find out.
That's true. All right, I'll keep an eye out for anything that might try and stop us from doing this. We brought some of the rope with us from the Corrids.
Right.
As we're setting up to do this,
What are we thinking? Are you going to just lasso one of the spikes on this sun up there, or the star up there, and pull it down? Should we wrap it around, kind of hula it up and tighten it?
You can fly, right?
I can fly.
Well, let's not risk it. Why don't you fly up there and get this tied?
All right, I can do that.
as we're like approaching this, is there anyone guarding this tower in any way? Is there a fence of any sort, or is it just a tower sticking out of the ground all by its lonesome?
It is just a tower sticking out of the ground all by its lonesome. What you're guessing is that most people aren't going to ever want to lift a finger against Endolin for fear of retribution, and because of that fear, she doesn't really feel a need to protect these kinds of things, because that cult of personality that she has developed around herself, if I'm using that phrase right, is keeping others from wanting to even think about doing something that would incur her anger.
All right. If you want to hold on to one end of the rope, and I'll go up there and tie it.
All right.
Very well then. Bat!
And the topaz wings will sprout out of my back, and Balhadur will launch themselves up into the air and start flying to the top of this tower.
Okay.
Did you just say bat?
Yeah, and after you yell bat, you are able to go up. And Balhadur, tying it, like the metallic like hairs are very difficult to try and maneuver. So you're actually like on the end of that minute when you manage to come back down. There's not a whole lot of leeway as you get done kind of wrapping this, but the pulley is ready. It is set for Clout's use.
I'll land down next to Clout.
All right, the knot is as tight as I could have made it. The metal was a lot harder than I was expecting. Oh, I was curious about something. You have a lot of physical closeness with the one known as Vice. Are you two siblings?
No.
Mates,
At
then?
least no.
Is this just sort of... I don't like to make assumptions of this type of thing, but is this like a tiefling closeness thing that you have?
No. I don't know. It's complicated.
Very well, then. Well, once you get that figured out, I'd love to know more about how the two of you know each other. It seems interesting.
You and me both, pal. I've got to be honest with you, I don't remember a whole lot about my life before the Witchlight Carnival, and evidently he does. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, did you suffer some head trauma at some point, or some sort of memory spell or something?
Something like that.
Do you think Vice is going to be able to help you with it?
Remains to be seen.
Well, if the two of you need any additional healing and a way to recover your memory, you're more than welcome to come to the Sealy Court once we get this all sorted out. Queen Titania would very much be able to help you recover any lost memories, if it's magical, I suppose. I don't know much about concussions myself.
I'm kind of hoping Zabilna is going to be able to help me out with that. He's like stretching and getting ready to like, he's like trying out different grips with the ropes before he actually engages the enlarge spell as he's talking.
Okay. Sounds good.
Any other way I can provide a help action, if anything.
That actually would be super good. Advantage is fantastic.
Okay. So yeah. Vice, Clout. You got your enlarge potion. So you do all your stretches, quaff it, and then you yourself have the ability to perform a enlarge reduce spell as well. So yeah, Vice, or goddamn it, Clout. Is this what being a parent feels like?
They're siblings.
100%.
Yeah, you end up getting to just a massive size. You are 15 feet tall right now. And like fully proportioned, like you look down and Bal is like, he's like action figure size to you. Like you could fit him in the palm of your hand. But yeah,
Oh, look at you go! You're getting a lot bigger.
All right.
I can't go any deeper than what I already do.
Same.
So Clout, you managed to like get all of the cords wrapped up and ready to go. Make a strength athletics check for me.
Would my medium-sized frame be able to help at all with a help action?
Yeah, reassuring cheers. You're like a spotter at the gym right now. Like you're, necessary and helpful.
Remember, don't tense up your neck when you do it. Your muscles will act on its own.
Got it. You're always able to lift more weight when other people are watching.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is. Hold on, athletics, that's what it is.
Yes.
God. Struggling. Natural 20 for 29.
Oh my god. And then so you get a natural 20. Don't forget to add some extra D4s in there because of the enlarge. But you got a natural 20, so there's really what is there for me to remind you? You're clearly the expert on this.
Hold on, let me look it up.
How
I'm
big the
curious.
number
I
can
just
get.
want to know. Yeah, that's what D&D is all about.
So we're at 29 now.
I would
let's
say
see.
2d4 because of the scale
Yep.
up.
Yeah, I
Like
believe
because
for
it's
each
so.
double.
size.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roll. Oh yes. Hold on. I have to wait for roll 20 to chug on this D4 roll. It's fine. It has to do with hardware acceleration.
Okay.
Oh, there were 2 3s, so that adds 6, so that's a 35.
Holy shit. Yeah, Clout, like you are giant sized right now. This tower is massive. It's just like a tent pole, baby. Like this ain't no problem. Just wrap around that cord so that way you can actually get like a good pull in. And you just take like single step forward and there's a groaning sound from the tower. A second step forward, the tower continues to strain and groan, and Bal, you're just like
Keep going.
cheering
You
him
got
on.
it. It's bending.
And there is just this as like you watch as this tower lifts up, and there is a firm base that was like it was planted into, buried underneath the earth, that just gets ripped out of the dirt itself as you just pull this tower down. And the entire thing, like as it's falling, you have this like moment where you're like, I pulled it in my direction. Maybe this wasn't such a, and you're able to like get out of the way as like this massive metal tower just slams onto the ground. You feel the earth shake underneath you as again you have just toppled one of these lightning rods on your first go. No questions asked. You and Balhadur are successful in taking down their lightning rod. Let's move over to Team B.
Do you know what it is? It was Balhadur implying that he and Vice had a physical relationship.
It's not like that.
Nope.
Ah!
I'm just gonna work out every time I think that Vice is attractive. Fuck, I'm shredded. All right. So, Team B, Lowry and Vice, the two of you are standing before this 30-foot tall lightning rod with its sun decal up at the top, or like this structure of a sun. What are the two of you doing to take down this lightning rod?
Can I inspect the tower first?
Yes,
Just
you
like
can.
see if there's any weaknesses. This is magically like here. Because honestly, we might be able to just take it down with a dispel magic.
It is not magically here. It looks like there is like this was crafted into this place. It is made
Okay.
to be structurally sound.
Okay. Investigation. Ah, 18.
18. Okay, so yeah, with an 18, kind of looking around, there don't seem to be any like split seams. Like this looks like it is one long set of copper. Like this is like it's not coated. Like this is a solid metal piece.
Larry, you wouldn't happen to know Shatter, would you?
No.
Sad. All right. Vice motions for Larry to like take a few steps back.
What are you planning to do?
Well, I'm planning to weaken out the base a little bit using some of my skills, and then maybe we can pull it down together. You as a draft horse, maybe.
Okay. I can also heat it up if that helps.
I can't see how it wouldn't help.
Do you want me to do that now or later?
In addition to as I'm doing this.
Okay. Lowry will cast heat metal.
Okay. So yeah, you see that in the area, like, because heat metal, it targets an entire metal object. Okay, so yeah, this 30-foot tall beam just starts like glowing like it's a fucking lightsaber out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's
yeah.
not gonna garner any attention at all.
And the sun
Yeah.
on top is just like, oh, like it's an actual sun right now. This is great.
Oh shit. What if we stuck a moon in front of that?
I mean, I don't know where we're gonna get one now.
Well, we have one here. He's looking at Larry. So Vice is gonna use his breath weapon. He's gonna circle around the tower and use a breath weapon on like one side, go to the other, use a breath weapon on another side, and then finally on the last side.
Okay.
It's 3 charges.
Sounds good. So yeah, just bah, bah, bah. Use all 3. Roll the damage for me.
Altogether?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be 60-10. Doing chug.
Do you want me to roll it for Lowry too?
Yeah.
How many quote unquote
3
rounds would you
rounds.
say this is? 3 rounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Vice is using 3 uses of his, we'll say that you get 3 uses of yours as well.
Okay, that's a D4.
31 force damage.
Okay.
All right, first round, 13. Second round, 12. 10. So 35 total.
Okay. So this thing looks not in a great way right now. With all of the damage that you've done with the heat metal as well as with the shouting, you can actually see that there are visible fissures that are along the side of this constructed piece. Lightning rods, especially ones made of copper, while very good at conducting electricity, are not so good at withstanding other forms of damage. So being able to blast it and trying to melt it with heat metal is actually doing a significant amount of damage to this thing. It looks like it most likely would not be able to stay together much longer. Lowry, roll another 2 rounds of heat metal.
12 and 6.
Okay.
18.
18 total.
Okay, so with that extra 18, the rain has been going for so long that as you've been heating metal, you can hear the sound of this rod groaning, and now that there are fissures and cracks, that water is getting inside of it as it's being constantly heated and expanding. You see, as you're looking at it, that part of it pops out, and you get the sense that it is beginning to shake, that it is going to maybe make a little bit of a kaboom.
We should go. We should go.
All right, nail in the coffin time. Lowry's gonna cast Thunderwave on it.
Okay. Yeah, so you cast Thunderwave, and there is a cacophonous, like, it sounds louder than the thunder that has been going on in the sky, as you watch this 30-foot tall cylinder just fucking explode.
That was 20 thunder damage.
Yeah! You had already taken out its entire HP bar before that, and it is just like with Clout and Balhadur, they tore it down, but maybe they could like stand it back up at a certain point, whoever knows. No, you guys like fuck that thing in particular and have just exploded this lightning rod. And from where you can see off in the distance, Lowry, you and Vice also see that the second tower, the one that you know that Clout and Balhadur are in charge of, has been taken care of as well. So your group has been successful. Okay. So the towers are down. What is the next plan? What is the next stage of the plan?
We meet up.
Okay.
At the map rightmost tower, and we're gonna hide until some sort of reaction happens from Endelin's big ass driveway.
Okay. Sounds good. So, yeah, you like go to your meeting place, and you are at the end of this long driveway, and looking up at the castle itself, looking up at Motherhorn, it has gone dark. There are no lights that are coming from it. There are no fantastical colors that seem to be playing from inside of the theater out into the night sky. It looks like you have cut the power to the palace, for lack of a better term. And you don't hear any commotion, because again, you're rather far away. But as you are there, at the end of this walkway, or at the end of this passageway, after maybe about an hour, there are no less than 3 carts filled with goblins, with like a variety of like workers' gear, hard hats, like that all have like the big light in it. Like it looks like these are like, they almost had like coal miner prop hats that they have all been made to wear. And you see that they are all on their way to take care of these issues. It looks like they are or at least to investigate. They don't know what's happening, but you see roughly about 18 goblins. I would say, yeah, so it's several carts of goblins, darklings, like they are just like sending everybody to work on these things. But in doing so, you are guessing that there are not many individuals that are going to be left inside of Motherhorn that are going to be getting in your way necessarily.
Excellent. It seems that our plan is working. We'll have to do a lot less unnecessary casualties.
Hopefully.
Anyone have a lozenge or something?
I have my wish rock if you'd like it.
No, I think I'll pass. Thanks.
All right then.
Just pops it on back.
All right,
Got
so
any You got any mint, Lowry?
I could grow some.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Vice reaches into his bag for like a honeyed beetle that he got from fucking
Goblin
way back
candy.
when. Goblin candy just
It'll definitely fix your problems.
All right then. Shall we storm this castle? take down the tyrant current ruler and reestablish order in Prismere.
Oh, and let's not forget about the pipe.
Yes, find the pipe for your friend. Find Glisten for Glimmer.
Kill the hag.
Kill the hag. Kill this hag.
That. What are we gonna do about the whole? We're walking and talking.
Yeah.
The long driveway.
What are we gonna do about the whole eclipse thing?
Oh, it sounds like we've come up with a couple of different options. We've got props in the theater we can try and eclipse with. We've got a metaphorical moon with moon over here, and gestures towards Lowry.
Yeah, I'm not worried about finding a moon while we're in there.
I can
I
cast
think-
daylight on something and stand in front of it.
Oh shit!
Do you actually have daylight?
Yeah.
Well then shit, like all we need is Lowry.
Keep Lowry
Right,
safe.
so don't let Lowry die.
I mean, I would hope that would be part of the plan either way.
We should still try to find Glister.
Of course. Try and accomplish everything that we set forth in, what did we call it? The case of the
Toppled towers.
hobbled towers.
Toppled.
Toppled.
It's alliteration. TT.
Ours was kind of exploded.
He's metaphorically toppled.
Right.
Okay. So, you are all able to, like, if you're just walking up the road, no trying to stealth or figure out another plan or means on that one. Just wanting to make sure so that way I know which part of the book to turn to.
Well, it seems that there's, like, at least based on the map description, it doesn't look like there's much hiding we can do if we move up this path.
I have already used my wings today, so I cannot fly.
Yeah, I think we're just dashing up the path.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going.
Sounds good. So you will reach the main entrance of Motherhorn. And again, now that you're closer, it is eerily quiet. Like, knowing the hustle and bustle that is usually involved in this building and knowing that there is no electricity to this place is very disconcerting. You can see that there are some lights that still remain, but you're guessing that those are either going to be gas or a candle, some sort of more natural means of lighting versus the electric lights that had been placed there previously. When you reach the upper balcony, you see that that recessed into the inner wall of this balcony is a 12-foot high stone double door with fancy scroll work along its edges, but it has no visible handles, hinges, or seams. And if you go up to where this door is and go to touch it, you see that draped, let me see here, that's the wrong section, So the surface of the door begins to shift and change, and it assumes the likeness of a skull-faced hag. "The Moon Twin is not welcome here," it says in a raspy voice. "All others may step forward and pass through the black curtain at the end of the entrance hall." And then the visage splits down the middle as the double door swings open, and it reveals a decorated hallway in which you can hear that there is a little bit of a hustle and bustle, but it doesn't sound like the more theatrical element that you had heard before. It sounds more like people trying to figure out what's going on.
Hood goes up.
Where are we coming in?
You are
from?
coming in on your map of Motherhorn. That is stage level M1, the southernmost little exit. So the only way through the main entry is actually going to be into the amphitheater. Unless you wanted to try and scale along the outer area of this building to then reach the understage where you know that there's a loading dock for aerial-based things.
You're muted, Wings.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, there is no visible ground beneath you, so that is a very...
Neat. We could fall forever.
Or we
Yay.
could just fly into the loading dock.
As mentioned earlier, I already used my wings. I can climb if I'm lucky.
I can take one person with me.
Lowry
I
can
s-
turn into a mouse. A moon.
I still have a fly
apologies.
today.
But that still leaves Balhador out in the cold.
I just pulled down a tower. I think I could handle holding Balhador.
All right. Lowry, you're with me, I guess.
Okay. Do I need to be a mouse?
You don't need to be. I can hold you.
Okay. I'd like to save any wild shaping or anything in case we get into a fight.
May I touch you?
Yes.
It's a hand around the waist, pops out the wings.
Okay. Then you guys are flying to the loading dock at the understage.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I won't make you guys roll to hold on for this because you are using some of your abilities to be able to do so. So you are able to then fly down underneath where the stage would be. And you can kind of see, like, as you get by, that there are still people that are inside of Motherhorn, but they don't seem to be, like, the goblins that you had seen previously. Like, these are at this point, like, they're actors that were possibly in the middle of a performance when all of the lights and everything shut down, that are sort of like unsure of how to proceed. But when you get to the loading dock and actually go and like push open the door to look into the workstation that you had previously set on fire, that also had a multitude of goblins in it prior, it is empty. You do not actually see any individuals here. You know that there is the exit into the Briganock mines that are here in this understage, but this is at least a good entryway into where you're going. What is the plan currently?
All right.
We should try and find those masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
know a few of the goblins were wearing them.
But we're specifically looking for Glister and the unicorn.
Is Glister a mask, or are they currently an actor?
We don't know.
I believe
I'm gonna
we were-
guess a mask.
Yeah,
Oh, were they turned into a mask?
she is
Unsure.
the moon twin. I thought we were told she was turned into a mask.
Notes.
I'm very much under the assumption that Glister has been turned into a mask, either because I was outright told it or it was heavily implied.
Oh, no, wait, she's the sun twin. Gleam is the moon twin.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
She's been held prisoner, and
Yeah.
what Endelyn usually does to prisoners
Is-
that she does not like
Turn them into masks.
is turn them to masks.
I
Be
can
the
ask
best way to.
around.
It'd be the best way to keep them from being a danger, right?
Right. I could ask around, embed myself as one of the actors. We'd at least get some information on what's going on in Motherhorn.
Well,
Are
we
you
know that the
sure that
stage
they're
is
not-
right up these stairs.
You sure they're not going to recognize you?
Think anyone here is willing participant in any of these plays. So if I choose right and offer the right things, I'm pretty sure we can still sneak around here.
Is there anything around here like the dark cloaks that some of the folks here were
Dark-
wearing?
Oh.
Is there any like costuming area here?
There is
Throw your hood up
upstairs.
and pretend to be a darkling.
Yeah, upstairs there is a costuming area.
If we all get cloaks, we could all just move about freely and pretend to be a darkling.
I mean, most of us looking at Bellander. He could be a very rotund darkling.
Darklings come in all shapes and sizes.
Sometimes ducks. You've never heard of Darkling Duck?
Oh my god.
Let's get dangerous, right?
But otherwise, yes.
Sorry, I think my head injury is acting up again. We should go.
Incredible.
I'll take the rear since I am the most obvious. I'll keep a distance until things get fuzzy.
Fuzzy?
Harry.
Gotcha. Pass without a trace goes out.
Okay, y'all get an additional +10 on your stealth as long as you hang around Lowry. Okay, so the main
We're gonna
goal.
stealth like the Scooby-Doo gang.
All right, so
Bang, bang.
there is, you know that there was like that stage dumbwaiter that you had lit on fire previously, but looking towards that general area, you can see that it is actually like stuck halfway. It looks like it was currently in use when the power went out, so you have a reasonable way to actually ascend up to M3 without having to go back onto the stage. So thankfully there is a way of ascending this place without alerting anybody who might not necessarily need it. So if you'd like, you can again go towards the direction of the stage, or based on your previous journeys here, you would know that this now burnt elevator that's also broken halfway would be able, if you went through that path, would actually be able to get you to the prop room, or at least one of the prop storages.
We could take that elevator up, or at least partway. If I remember correctly, it does lead to one of the prop rooms, and it's also a secluded area, so not many people would go through there.
All right.
You're muted, Media.
Plus, it's now a hazard, so people are less likely to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'll see.
so I'd like for everybody to roll stealth checks for me.
Disadvantage.
14.
With the 10?
I rolled a 4.
Oh boy. Okay.
39 for Vice.
Okay.
33.
Didn't come in here with 2 tieflings. What are you talking about?
Bard, 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 Bard.
23.
23 for Bao.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay. So, yeah, Lowry, you are the loudest one of your group. However, I mean, it's one of those things, like, you can kind of mask the sounds that are going on just based off of the other general hubbub that's going on here. But your group is able to get up and actually go into the prop storage room. And this is the room where, you know, having been in here previously, there are crates full of powdered wigs. There's a massive mousetrap that, again, is 3 feet wide and 8 feet long. You're not really sure what mouse that's for, but could be useful. As well as there is a parasol topped with a copper weather vane. And I would say that in this area, you can kind of hear mumblings in the library that's to the north, and you can hear also a kind of deeper grumble that is extending down from the hallway to the left-hand side of where you are.
I think we could use that mousetrap as a form of impromptu catapult.
Perhaps
I don't think the spring works that way.
we'd have to stop it from fully going forward.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it couldn't be just a pure-on trap for someone of my size.
Vice is reaching into a crate to pull out a cloak. I mean, if you put someone standing on the metal bar,
So,
they could jump at the apex.
The cloaks aren't in this room, because this is only for those props that were listed, which was, again, the mousetrap, the wigs, and then the parasol.
The parasol.
Yeah, this looks like props, not costuming. If you want to get some costumes, you're gonna have to go to the costuming department for that.
Is there anything specific about the wigs that are in this room?
Yes, they are powdered, white,
Yes.
and each one is crawling with harmless spiders.
No.
I am putting one on.
Oh
Yeah.
God. That's just a snack for later.
Yeah, these wigs look like the Puritan judges' wigs.
Always gonna take one with her.
Clout's gonna grab the
me.
parasol.
I'm an actor.
Actually, you're pretty good at that.
Oh, thank you. I have a lot of children to entertain.
I guess that would do it. Clout's gonna open the parasol away from himself in case anything terrifying flies out of it.
Yeah, they're just
7
more
disadvantages of bad
spiders.
luck now.
Why are there so many spiders? Shakes them out.
They just like harmlessly fall to the ground and
Oh.
scurry away.
Can I scoop a spider up?
Yeah.
Lowry, you could speak with animals, correct?
Yeah. Why?
We ask this little fella if there's anything interesting around here.
Oh, you mean like right now? I
If you
didn't
want.
I
Oh, you
didn't- prep that. I have mostly fighting things.
You know what? That's fair.
Oh, you know what? Let's not waste yours. My folk Lucan Bandor lets me speak with spiders. Twing!
Jesus Christ.
Hey there, little guy. Why did you want to talk to spiders again?
See if there's anything interesting around here.
My home's
There-
been destroyed.
Yeah, sorry about that. We can find you a better home with flies and dark corners.
I want to eat a home fly. To myself, mother and father say that I'm not old enough to devour unsupervised.
Right.
But you,
Okay.
you have plucked me. You have given me knowledge, the ability to communicate. I am Eloise.
Gotta be honest with you, Eloise. I'm only gonna be able to talk to you for the next 10 minutes, and then it's nothing until tomorrow. So we gotta make our time.
Eloise nods.
You
Tell me your
Uh,
origin story.
My legend begins in the 9th century.
Oh God!
I
I'm
formed the
speedrunning your-
cosmos!
I need to get all your flags. Let's do this. No. You seen anything interesting around here?
Why, yes, they put on plays every single day. Oh, how I love them. One is actually about one of our kind who's able to communicate with a pig.
Beautiful. Is there? Sorry.
She dies in the end.
It's rather sad.
Spoilers. Is there anything?
Like 50 years ago.
I have brain damage.
Clout doesn't read.
Do you know if there's going to be another play today?
Oh, they put on 2 plays every day. They were in the middle of their second one when everything went dark.
The second one's already been done.
It was, well, it's not finished. They were in the middle of the second act. There was a strange metal device that had been put onto a table in the first act, and nobody really seemed to be drawing much attention to it, but I guarantee you that they would be using that strange metal device by the end. Otherwise, they wouldn't draw attention to it.
Was it a weapon by Chekhov? Was that guy?
I don't know these names that you speak of. There's so many characters.
All right. What's the name of the play?
The name...
Yeah, where's sorry. No, where's costuming?
Oh! You're looking for costuming? Well, it's just down that way, right over there. At least that's what I assume is costuming, and they point towards the long hallway that is westward from where you all are. At least I assume that's where the costumes are done. Individuals will go down there, and then they will come back looking completely different. There is one such actor who is covered in hair and has a nose like a bat. And sometimes he gets to play the big scary things, and other times he's a tree. But we all know it's him. There's his repertoire is rather stale. one might say. A little bit of a critic myself.
We've all been a tree in a play every now and then.
Mother and father say I could get the lead if I try my hardest.
That's it. I'm taking you to Thread Twister to fucking get awakened. If anything happens to Eloise, I'm murdering everyone here.
I am taking Eloise with me. It's like, all right, go ahead and
Just
hop
put
into
them in
this.
my wig.
Yeah. You can ride in the parasol or in the wig. What do you want?
Well, the parasol was my home, but when you opened it, all of the threads and webbing spread apart and tore themselves asunder. A home it is no more.
I am.
Do you have
So
a
sorry.
small box?
I
Put
think
me
I
in
do,
your
actually.
comfiest reliquary.
Oh Jesus.
What are they wanting?
a
Clout?
small box to live in?
Got a tinderbox.
I'm gonna open up my disguise kit.
Yeah, Eloise will crawl in there and you see immediately like goes over to the powders and starts like applying them.
They're right at home.
Keeping her. All right, yeah, make yourself at home. Click.
Before Cloud can click, Vice just drops a little candied fly.
Can eat a whole fly myself.
God, this game is so delightful. It's really hard to be the grumpy Gus.
Until the murder happens.
So what did you learn from this spider?
Well, I know where the costuming department is. And they were in the middle of a play. The second one, which means that we won't need to worry about any more plays happening today.
Well, are they in a hold, or was the play canceled?
I think it's on a hold.
So that means the show will go on later. Once
Yeah.
they fix whatever's putting the hold on. I wonder what.
Could be
Okay,
anything.
so which way do we go?
You said costuming was down here?
Yep. He points the way.
Let's go grab some cloaks.
Okay. And as you go down that hallway, you start getting a smell of tobacco that's coming from that room. And as you get closer, Vice, you and Clout, with your, like, all of you really can, like, do the Scooby-Doo totem. And you see that resting against the walls of this circular chamber are 3 dressing tables, each one with a mirror atop it. The mirrors are bordered by tiny balls of bright golden light. At this point, there would be not. An ornate high-backed chair on clawed feet sits before each table, and slumped in one of these chairs is a bugbear dressed as a green dragon from the neck down. On the floor nearby are the fake dragon head and the tail that complete the costume, and you see that they have a half-burned cigarette that seems to just kind of be like loose in their fingers, as like they have like their fingers like pinching their brow as they just hate this fucking place. Hate this fucking job.
Clout's gonna look at the rest of the group and go like,
Now, Clout, as
Yeah?
you get a good look at this bugbear, you recognize them
really?
not because of them specifically, but because they have a familial resemblance to a bugbear who works at the Witchlight Carnival. You remember
Oh.
Burley, the bugbear who worked there. Burley had let you know that his brother Hurley had actually left the Witchlight Carnival not in several years prior, saying that they had found a better gig, but that would maybe allow them to
taking
grow
them out.
more as an actor.
Do
Furthermore,
I know?
one of the other things that is interesting to note about Hurley is that they do not cast a shadow.
Oh shit. Do I know if they left on good terms? Like this wasn't a like fuck you guys, I'm out. This was like a
It
goodbye,
was
my friends.
It was a kind of like fuck you guys, I'm out, but it was one where it's like you know how you play through the scenario where if you win the lottery, how you'll quit your day job or you tell everybody off because you're better than this 2-bit town and nobody ever appreciated you anyways? Like, that's what Hurley did when he left.
They're the theater kid from Oklahoma who went to New York.
Yes.
Right.
And
Yeah,
New York
okay.
currently has given them a rather sizable addiction to tobacco products and maybe not the brightest outlook on their future.
Okay. I know how I'm gonna play this.
You stabbed them, right?
Clout's gonna like sort of like wave everybody back into the hallway. He's like, I know that guy.
Yeah?
Well, I don't know that guy. I know his brother.
Oh, so it would probably be awkward to kill this one.
Maybe.
Probably.
I don't
mean,
know.
If his brother ever finds out.
Hey.
Why is it always murder?
I'm just putting an option on the table.
How do we play this out? Should we talk to him?
If you're friends with their brother or sibling, then maybe you can try and negotiate them leaving amicably.
I mean,
You know what?
they could be an ally.
All right. Okay. All right. Here's how we're gonna do this. I go in alone, and if this breaks bad, you guys jump in. Okay.
Right. I'll get the mech ready, and you can just jump out the doorway, and I'll destroy everything in the room.
Okay.
I puff up the gills a little, and some of the scales point outwards.
He stares.
bitch love.
He stares at that for a second, and then like shakes his head and walks into the room before anything happens. It's like, I'm leaving before this turns me on or doesn't. I don't want to know.
Am I into this? I'm not going to give myself enough time to think.
Start hearing the achievement unlock sound, and you're like, nope,
Yeah, nope. Shoves it back up there and just leaves.
Okay, so yeah, Clout, you hurriedly walk into the room and Whisper kind of tags along with you, and hurriedly, like is mid drag when they turn, and like you can see they kind of like try and put it behind their back, and then see that it's you, and just pull it back out. They realize like you're not management, so it doesn't really matter, and then they go to like they look at you, and I think that there is just this like. What are we back on? I mean, lights aren't on, so I figure. Wait, no, you're not one of them.
Hurley? Hurley, is that you?
That's what they call me.
Shit, Hurley. You don't know me. I know your brother Burley. Like, we go way back. I'm from the Witchlight Carnival.
You know
At least
little
I
baby
was until I
Burley?
got out of there. Yeah, little baby Burley.
Miss that kid. How's he doing? Is fucking better than this?
How is he doing? I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing fine. I mean, he just moves a bunch of shit. Like he knows his job is basically warehouse, and he's fine with that.
He's doing great, man. Had the same job as me. So he's probably got more work now that I'm gone. Anyway,
Wait,
how
no,
you been
no,
doing?
hold up. Now that you're gone and you're here, did she tell you that she was going to make you a star? That she just needed a few more gold coins to really get this thing popping? Did you believe her?
Is that what she told you?
I believed her once. And he looks into the mirror, and you can see like his reflection in the mirror, but like it's like he looks sickly and haggard in this, like the reflection of himself that he's looking at. She told me I was gonna be a star. And now look where I am. I'm the villain. Not even a good one. Die in the first act. And sometimes they bring me back. Play midwife. You know what it's like? And they keep just giving you shoddy roll. And then they tell you that you're not up to snuff. You're not up to par.
They don't even give you a chance, huh?
It could have been something. Anyway. What are you? You said you're new here, right? You're welcome. I guess. If you see-
Yeah. It's good to actually meet you, Hurley. I'm Humbug.
Pleasure to meet you, Humbug. Now, if you're not here to work, I'm guessing, I mean, she has new hires all the time, but I've been working the front most the whole day, and I haven't seen you come by. So, if you're not here to work, what exactly is it?
I didn't say I wasn't here to work. I'm a leg man, actually. Did you need any coffee or anything?
You got any smokes?
He'll pop out his own pipe and hand it to him. I'm actually in here looking for some extra costumes. There was talk of putting on a third play in case the second one doesn't shake out.
Oh, Jesus. They haven't even given us the script for the third one. You know, if they want a better performance, a script is always going to be necessary. I'm just saying.
I hear you, man. I'll see what I can do about getting that to you. I also am looking for a pipe. That one lady. God, sorry, I'm still new. I don't know names around here.
Charmaine.
Like, I know I should. Yeah, Chimay.
Listen.
She said she put it down.
So I will. Trust me, Charmaine. If you fuck up the name, I've seen too many goblins turn to dust.
Well, thanks for that, then.
Yeah, if you're looking for costumes, you're in the right place. Have at it. I don't give a shit.
Great. Let me just. He's gonna like start digging through like boxes, trying to grab trying to find cloaks for everybody, essentially. And as he does so, he's gonna say over his shoulder, also Charmaine said she put her pipe down somewhere. I'm supposed to find that too. You haven't seen it anywhere, have you?
Nobody tells me shit. I'm basically a mushroom. Kept in the dark and only fed crap. He takes another long drag of a cigarette. And then, like it's just like the last little, like, burning his fingers bit, and he just flicks it. And you see it, like, lands on one of the costumes, and, like, it burns into some of the fabric. They can always mend that.
Clout throws a few cloaks over his shoulder. And he starts heading for the door, and he turns around and he says, "Hey, listen, buddy. You're too good for this place. You should get out of here."
Where would I go? It's not like I have an easy way back home. I mean, I had heard that they were like these beacons or whatever, that this elven prince had been tricked into trying to light, but, I mean, we all know that guy's not getting out of here.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, look out for yourself, all right?
And when you say that, he just sort of like nods and turns and looks at his reflection in the mirror again, and he just sees that sad, haggard-looking bugbear face looking back at himself.
Clout walks out the door and immediately starts like passing out cloaks and like, come on.
Okay.
All right.
I think that Charmaine person still has the pipe.
Well, she's not downstairs, that's for sure.
We can check the other rooms on this floor. Otherwise, there's the spiral staircase that leads to the next level that we found last time.
All right, but we got to be quick about this. I have no idea how much time we have.
They have to repair 7 towers. I think we have plenty of time.
They get one of those up and they're still going to get some power.
I wonder if there's some sort of machine in here we could try and fuck with.
Well, did we see any on this floor? I only saw boxes and crates and cages and stuff.
No, I think this is more of the theatrical situation. Either we go lower or higher for the guts.
I think higher is the next option then.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Okay. So yeah, with the stealth checks that you had rolled previously, as well as your added cloaks, You are able to go back into the library and kind of sift around, and you know that there is that staircase that leads up on that northwestern hallway, and it extends down to that looks like a rather sturdy looking door as well. Do you just want to go directly up, or do you want to investigate what's happening, or that door at all, or just kind of continue onward?
Do you think this just leads back down to the place where whatever the hell her name was, where our escape tunnel is?
Charme?
Yeah.
I could pop down real fast and have a look.
The stairs are going up.
Oh, it's going up.
Yeah, the stairs are going up.
Which is there was below there was also a door.
So if you're looking at the map, on the northwestern side, there is a small corridor that looks like it has some lights that have been lit for visibility. On the left-hand side, there are stairs that lead to the upper level, and then there is a doorway at the end of that hallway. And that door has been shut, whereas most of the rooms are sectioned off with black curtains. So the fact that there is a door is quite noticeable on this one.
A link to the map's been posted into Zoom.
Well, unless you think there's something of import in this room here, we can move upwards and try and find a machine or source of power or something.
Right, let's move on up. I don't think there's anything down here for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it the hallway by M8, by the way?
It is. Okay. So yeah, you are going up. And then, let me get to that all propped up. Okay. So, yeah, you go up the stairs and you are at the first level of the tower, and you can see that the stairs continue to go up. So you can either stop at this level and explore around, or just keep going to the highest point that you possibly can.
Let's go methodic, floor by floor.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good. So do you want... So as you exit into this hallway, you can look that to the east, there is a massive... And it looks like... almost like the ghost or the corpse of something that is that should be active. But instead you see all of these large mechanical pieces that are sort of just trapped and set into place. And you can hear that raspy voice that you had heard the door make when you had initially tried to go in through the front door, coming from that room. And you can also hear more of a haughty voice that seems to be coming from that room as well. So you're guessing that Charme, from what you had heard previously, is also in the room with that large mechanical structure.
Glad that the captioner said haughty voice instead of haughty voice.
Haughty voice. She's a real hottie.
You can tell by the voice.
Hey guys!
They're not red flags, they're just fun facts.
So that is to the east. You can hear those voices. And then to the west, you can see that there's a set of double doors.
If I'm looking down east...
Okay.
I'm just looking at the machine. Arcana check, I guess?
Yeah, you can definitely
Purpose?
do that.
Oh, giant machine and Pam's not here.
It is a machine that fills this chamber.
16 on that?
So 16, this contraption that you are just sort of like looking at or trying to grok is 20 feet tall and 60 feet in diameter. It is a massive contraption. In its prime, when active, it looks something like this, where it has like suns and moons and all sorts of crazy
Suns
shit
and
going
moons,
on.
eh?
Yes, but they seem to have been stuck in place. And you were guessing, based off of everything that you've heard, is that this machine is what is known as the Orrery of Tragedies.
Oh, this is where
Endolin Endolin sits. Like all of the electricity that's funneling into this place. Yeah, it's used for the stage productions. Yes, it's used for lighting and other things, but primarily all of the electricity is going into the orrery. And you can again hear Endolin with that raspy voice just like shouting. And some of the things that you hear are, I don't care, just get it done.
I believe that's the Ori we heard about, the misery machine that feeds Endolin her little novellas.
Mm-hmm.
Also the power source to this place. Oh, converts the power at least.
Sounds like something that we should break then.
Well, without the power, kind of already broken.
We should avoid that. Endolin's in there.
Keep looking and circle back, maybe?
Right.
Well, if we're doing methodical, there's the double doors that's right here.
Yeah. Vice nods his head.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me see here. So as you reach this area, you see that these doors are being blocked by that this area is blocked by a featureless stone door, and you see that there are two rusty suits of armor sized for goblins and equipped with halberds that flank this large stone door bereft of handles, hinges, or decoration.
I wonder which one tells the truth and which one always lies.
Well, do either of the statues have real eyes?
Do you go over and lift the visor?
Well, I pose the question to Vice, so if they don't lift the visor...
Oh, okay. I thought... Oh, yeah. Vice will approach one of the statues and, like, wave a hand in front of it.
Okay. Yeah, it does not notice you or take notice of you.
This smells like a trap.
Or actually, sorry.
Yeah, I just looked directly at you.
Yeah, as you kind of like wave and like, do you interact with it at all?
I'm not putting hands on this thing until I know what's going on.
Sure. Then it's fine.
What are the odds that these spring to life if we touch the door?
Probably highly.
And the commotion might draw over one of the two.
I'd like to cast Detect Magic.
Oh, the door magic as fuck. And then these little goblin suits of armor, they magic too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a necromancy kind of thing. It seems more of like an evocation. Seems to be tied to them.
Evocation magic's tied to both. So something will happen.
That's stuff like fire and ice and wind and all that like, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it sounds like it's trapped. I'm gonna cast the other one. Goodbye
Perytons.
magic.
Spell
That
magic?
one. Goodbye magic. What
Okay.
the fuck is that called?
Dispel magic.
The spell magic. Thank you. Brain's not here today.
That's fine. So you're casting Dispel magic. Do you want to cast it on the stone door or the statues or the little goblins?
It's the door that we were sensing magic from, right?
Yeah.
Also the suits of armor.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them?
Yes.
All three of them.
You can only target one thing with this, right?
That is correct.
I would have cast it on the door.
Okay. So, Dispel magic on the door. All right. It takes effect. And the magic that was on the door is no longer there, and there is now a featureless stone door. No handles or ways to really get into it.
I feel like I did this wrong.
Fine, I'll bite the bullet. Vice reaches out his hand towards the door.
Gonna go back around the corner into the stairwell.
Okay.
In case of burning hands.
Sure. Yeah, Vice, you put your hand on the door. It is not magical. It does not respond.
Oh, fuck.
What? Don't yell.
Well, for one, it's a featureless door with no handles. Maybe it's touch activated. The magic's gone now.
Ah, damn it. Sorry, I thought it was trapped.
Well, it technically is trapped now. If there's someone on the other side, they will be fucked for a moment. So, silver linings and everything. Hopefully that's not the room that we need to go to.
Yeah.
Want to go into that room with Endlin and Charme. Let's head on up.
Okay. It sounds good. So yeah, you go up the stairs, and at that point, now that you are on the top of the stairwell, you see that there is a brief hallway that extends out to the east, and then it wraps around a small corner, and you can actually see the very top part of the orrery poking through in that opening. Endelin's voice is much clearer and sounds a lot closer than it was when you were downstairs. I would like for everybody to make a stealth check.
We still got Pass Without a Trace?
Let me see how long that lasts.
1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
still have Pass Without Trace.
Cool, because I rolled a 7, so that's going to be a 17.
I didn't do much better. 18.
I roll with disadvantage, so 17.
35.
Okay.
Oh, pass without trace.
Sounds good. Just let me check on something real quick.
Love it. Love it. Like it.
Nervous.
Okay. So, what you all see is that walking in front of the doorway, that there is a large form that is hunched over and the head sort of like protrudes forward a little bit with a long black veil over it. And it doesn't look like they're shuffling like with, you know, like 2 feet going forward like you would assume. It almost looks like they are gliding, but from where you can see, you can actually see that underneath this dark black like ball gown, what looks to be like hundreds of tiny little like movers that are just helping her look like she's gliding across the floor.
He's on
As
tank treads.
these long like bony, almost skeletal hands that she has in front of her are just sort of like almost wringing themselves, and you can hear her under her breath just, "This wasn't in the plan, this wasn't in the plan, this wasn't in the plan," as she passes by the front, seeming not to have noticed your group.
Ooh.
With that, after she passes by, you hear that there is a sound of almost shifting stone again, and then the stone resets, but you do not hear her.
Sounds like me. She might have gotten to another room.
Well, I always had trouble discerning echoes. My apologies.
Should we go in or go back?
We should go back.
I'd like to at least find out where specifically she went up here. We don't have to go through that door or whatever she went through, but just to know which door she went through.
This could be our only chance to get past her without her noticing.
Vice, do you want to go in and check it out?
Not on me.
I'd volunteer, but I will be the least quiet person.
Mm-hmm.
I can turn invisible. I can do it.
All you have to do is see where the door is that they passed through so we can note it. Don't be a hero. You can come right back to us.
Clout looks to Vice.
I don't need invisibility to be invisible. Save your invisibility for when we need it.
He's gonna reach over, put a hand on Vice's shoulder, and say, "Don't fuck it up." Bardic inspiration.
I wouldn't give you the satisfaction.
Okay.
Creep, creep, creep.
Okay. Yeah. So
Step on every potato chip.
Yeah.
And
Vice.
then I take one out of the bag and eat it.
Yeah. As you go forward,
Would I have to re-roll since I'm leaving paths without a trace?
you will. Yes.
Are you still within 30 feet of me?
I would probably have to leave that.
Are these
so-
squares 10-foot or 5-foot squares on the map? that we got?
Squares are 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay, so
Yeah.
probably still within 30, right?
Depending on how far you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're just popping your head out to look for wherever they went through, you totally should still be good.
Yeah, and Vice, as you pop out, you can see that there is a stone railing that encloses this ring-shaped balcony and has balusters that are shaped like hourglasses actually built into it. But you're looking, and you can see that there is a set of double doors to the west, just directly south of where you are. And then across the way, you see that there is another hallway. But as far as doors go, there's only one door that you can see anyways.
He'll creep back. Well, I could only see one set of double doors immediately to our right if we come out.
And that is the direction that you had seen Endlin go.
Noted.
Okay. Anything in there that could help us stop her?
Go that far in, but I can see the top of the machine. If we really want to break it, I think I could make that jump.
You think you can, when you break it, draw her attention so that she looks over the balcony at it? You do a little push for fall damage?
Do we want to pop off here?
That's a good question. We
should
have,
try to-
let's,
We should try to find Glister and the unicorn first, right?
we should identify where the people that we need to rescue are,
Mm-hmm.
and then figure out exactly how we're going to pull off this eclipsing that we need to do.
There was another room we didn't check downstairs. Right outside of the staircase. If we pop out, it's to our left.
We can go back that way.
On the first floor, sorry.
But the first,
Whatever we do, let's be quick about it. We don't know whether she's coming back or not.
Let's go.
right, let's go.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, you guys descend down the stairway, and then you descend. You descend a second time to get to stage level, as it is described on the map. And then, of course, there is that doorway that you had seen previously. So let me just get that pulled up. Okay.
I have an idea if we do want to. No, that would be a bit much.
Okay. So
Well, I don't think anything is a bit much while we're getting ready to destroy someone and everything that they hold dear.
I think everything that we do is a bit much, if I'm being honest.
Your concerns are noted, and in the next quarterly review, we will address it.
So you don't wish to share the idea?
Well, I was going to say I could hop up on stage and cause a distraction, and while Endlin's investigating, Yashanka.
After we search this room, I'm more on board with that idea.
Okay. So you guys get to the door. You try the handle. And you open it. Easy enough. It doesn't seem to be locked. There's no mystical magical traps or anything like that. And as you open this door, you can see that the walls of this room are adorned with wooden masks, most of which looked like shocked goblin faces. Dozens of masks hang neatly from hooks on the walls, and several more are stowed haphazardly on the shelves of an old bookcase. 2 padlocked cages stand in a far corner. One is occupied by a panic-stricken goblin, and the other is empty. In the middle of the room, you see that there are 2 copper poles 10 feet apart that descend from the 8-foot ceiling. Each pole has a 1 foot diameter copper sphere at the end of it, 3 feet off the floor. Between the poles, you can see that there is a table that is set up that looks like it has shackles that are placed near it as well. And you see that there is a tall, thin, cloaked figure that stands in the shadows. A rictus grin forms beneath the cowl as the figure pulls a lever or is in the process of putting a mask onto one of the tables, one of these storage areas. And you can hear this goblin, tears in their eyes, choked in their words, crying for the name Binky. And as this goblin cries and this hooded figure is putting a mask up onto the wall and the goblin, like crying, is looking at this mask, crying the name Binky, that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. Well, rather break for the week. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stick with us and join us for this wonderful game of Dungeons and Dragons. It's just a bunch of lighthearted fun. I'm sure there's no horror. There's no spooky time in
Binky!
the wild beyond the Witchlight. That's right. The goblin's name was Binky.
We must save Binky.
There you go, man.
I don't know who Binky was, but I'm gonna die for them.
Look, you thought that you were getting ready to die for yourselves in this place? Nah, you die for Eloise, you die for Binky, Hurley, the goblin. They've all been through the ringer, and they're all having a good time. And speaking of a good time, RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm gonna stop you there, fella, and press X to doubt. Hey, everybody, my name is RJ. You can catch me at rjustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. You can catch me here again that's next week. Tomorrow for our Four Keeps campaign, where I play a Shatterkai wizard. We're up to some bullshit.
Y'all hit level 19.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Thursdays over at GGK, where we do a game called Elegant Creatures, which is a Monster of the Week game we have smashed together with Good Society. We're in a death race, I believe, because Turbotine is getting chased by some fae. It's wild. Saturdays over at GGK once again for Parcelings, which is a deck building game. Instead of using dice, we pull cards to see how successful we are. I went feral as we fought some monsters, and my boy's hurt real bad. He's fine. And finally, Sunday mornings over at the HypeGoblin, where we play D&D 5e. Hey, Ron's panicking about proposing to his girlfriend.
Yay.
Hatter Eye's about to be a grandfather to...
Grandfather Eye?
Grandfather Eye to 3 1T Azamar babies.
Perfect.
TheHypeGoblin.com.
Hey everybody, I am Sarah. I have been playing Lowry Moon. Welcome back, RJ.
That was not a mute button.
You can find me all over the internet as the HypeGoblin, doing cosplay-related stuff of my characters, making short-form video content over on TikTok and Instagram, and, occasionally when I have the spoons for it, publishing videos on YouTube, like how to calibrate the perfect game for your table using calibration and safety tools. It's a fun time. Go check it out. And, yeah, that's me. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mediaflare. I'm a voice actor and streamer. You can find me here twice a week, playing various characters or dungeon mastering myself. Otherwise, you can see me as the character Russell Gainsley over on Zark Media's Star Citizen News Network.
And also, if you are in the Detroit area, I will be a member of the acting troupe in Theatre Bazaar. Be warned that I am in probably the most adult-rated area of the event. So if you would like to see a sexy clown variant of me, that is where I shall be. DanaeKeener.com.
And speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hey, I'm Danae Keener. I'm over on DanaeKeener.com. You can find me there. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. I've got a pinned tweet there with my schedule. You can see all of the Twitch games that I'm in. You can go and see all of those games. Fuck. That's it.
DanaeKeener.com.
remove magic. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. If you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the indoor adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/indooradventures. We do shows like this on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, currently at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But tomorrow's the first day of my new job, so I'll get to know what the actual, transit is like on that with my upcoming schedule. So hopefully we can switch it back to that earlier game time that I know I really like. I know that my players really like. So fingies crossed on that one. But if this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/indooradventures. It's a great time. And of course, if you want to ask us questions or just hang out, we have a Discord set up. You can join us in the link is in the Twitch chat or in the description of this video or audio cast down below. So with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!